ZESCO Limited is a power utility owned by the government of the Republic of Zambia that supplies electricity and energy solutions within Zambia and the sub-Saharan region. The power utility's operations cut across the electricity value chain, being generation, transmission, distribution, and supply. At the beginning of 2022, the corporation's leadership team set out on a journey to transform ZESCO into a commercially viable utility well positioned to deliver excellent services efficiently and effectively. The plan was initiated at the backdrop of identified operational and financial challenges, specific ones being the new connection backlog, an unsustainable amount of debt, and generally the poor service delivery levels in parts of inadequate maintenance of the power utility's electricity distribution and supply network.
2022, I think, was inaugural year for us. We took over office basically a year ago, and yes, indeed, it's been a reformative year. We are still reforming the corporation into something that we'll be proud of as a nation. We're coming from a time when ZESCO is basically debt sunk, but at least we've covered milestones on how that debt should be restructured going forward. We've also ensured that the debt no longer increases, but that it gets arrested. Of course, we did also some reach out to other stakeholders like ERB to ensure that the connection fees are revised. The connection fees were last revised in 2005, and connection fees are related to materials used in connections. And to imagine that from 2005 there has been no adjustment in connection fees, that yielded a definite problem, and that problem was the backlog. And the backlog started growing from 2014 until 2021, when it reached an amazing number of 67,000. But we do believe that with the connection fees now coming out from ERB, there will be some improvement. We hope that another backlog will not be created. The ERB has not given us 100% of what we requested for. We believe it needs to be staggered, but this cannot wait another 20 years to be revised. The revisions should be as we proceed so that there is progress. Then, of course, also in the operationalization of the institution, making it more efficient, and be effective so that we attain excellency. A bit of work has been done in terms of reaching out to customers. Now you do agree with me that you can actually call ZESCO and they will answer. They will pick up the call. That never used to happen, and yet there is fully-fledged infrastructure on the ZESCO call center. In fact, ZESCO was one of the first institutions, the early first decade of this millennium, that actually we instituted the call center. But that call center went down to a level where it was performing at 4%. But now we can proudly say, even within the rainy season, we do get efficiencies up 77%, with a lot of calls coming in on power outages. In the normal seasons, when it's a bit dry, you get them at 96% or even higher, which is really good.
Fully aligned to ZESCO's role in guaranteeing the country's economic revival and sustained growth, the power utility's growth trajectory has been focused on introducing a culture of service excellence, enhance financial performance, and steadily grow ZESCO's power generating capacity. To achieve a stable power supply, ZESCO has, among the notable interventions, accelerated to completion the 750 plus 12 megawatts Kafue Gorge Lower Hydro Power Plant. This generating asset is situated on the Kafue River, downstream of the Kafue Gorge Power Station, and the third power plant in the cascade of the Kafue River Basin. The other two being the 120 megawatts Iteji and the 990 megawatts Kafue Gorge. Additionally, ZESCO has taken a leap into the solar energy space, making strides to source viable partnerships in the development of 3 solar PV power plants totaling a generation capacity of 150 megawatts in the first phase of the program. The 3 projects will be situated in western, southern, and Luapula provinces, respectively. This is ZESCO's first step on its journey to innovate renewable energy technologies as a means of diversifying its power generating mix composed of a minimum of 800 megawatts of solar energy, 500 megawatts of wind energy, and 500 megawatts of hydro in the next 10 years.
In our strategic plan, we've covered that very well. The entire value chain from generation of power through to transmission and distribution has been covered. Our portfolio investment requirement sits around about 3.9 billion in generation. We're going to increase generation in the next 10 years, hopefully by close to 3,000 megawatts. Now, what that means is that we have to look at all the types of energy that we are going to harness. Hydropower, we're going to harness that. We do have close to 700 megawatts of hydropower sitting in the Luapula province. We hope that can be harnessed quickly and swiftly. Some of it is already studied and is good to go. We believe those national resources should be brought on the table for the country to develop and benefit for the entire nation. Solar is another source of energy we are going to harness. Our ambition is to install not less than 1,000 megawatts of solar in the next 10 years. Already as we sit now, I think there are some requests for proposals being made for the first 150 megawatts. And we do believe that our other partners coming from the Arab world are also will be signing off another 150 megawatts. That will make 300. So between the two already you're talking about 1,000. So in the next 2 to 3 years, you see a lot of development in the solar spectrum. We're also going to encourage a lot of independent power producers who can come in to either put outside, erect standalone systems that actually can supply specific loads which they identify. We don't have a problem with that either. We believe these will be partners in solving the energy problem.
The government of the Republic of Zambia, through ZESCO Limited, seeks to improve the foundation of economic development, and one of the fundamental elements is the supply of adequate, safe, and reliable electrical energy. Thus, developments in the sector are of interest to the key sector stakeholders, notable among them His Excellency, President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema.
Not spend time kubandika about the technical aspects of this power station. That has been ably done by the ZESCO Managing Director and indeed His Excellency the Ambassador to Zambia of the Republic of China. But only to say that this hydropower station, really, we owe it to the people of this location, because this is a natural resource endowment where God placed the local population at the beginning to live around here, and they've looked after this asset. We're grateful to the community.
As ZESCO steadily consolidates itself a regional power trading hub within the Southern African and East African power pools, the power utility continues to harness strategic partnership with its neighbors, with the notable ones achieved this year being the renewal of Memorandum of Understanding on 2 projects, ZESCO Limited and Société Nationale d'Électricité, SNEL. The National Power Utility for the Republic of Zambia and DRC, respectively, renewed the Intergovernmental Memorandum of Understanding and the Inter-Utility for the joint development of power generation projects in Luapula Province, which aims to increase the amount of power that can be reliably traded between DRC, Zambia, as well as other Southern African countries. Other milestones scored by ZESCO in the year 2022 is the renewal and signing of the bulk supply agreement with the Copperbelt Energy Corporation, the company's long-standing business partner responsible for the supply of electrical energy to the majority of mining companies on the Copperbelt province. ZESCO's distribution and supply network is the power utility's power supply backbone, and its efficiency is heavily dependent on the robust maintenance regime and system upgrade and modernization. Prominent among the projects progressed during the year is the Lusaka Transmission, Distribution and Rehabilitation Project, LTDRP, under which 9 substations in Roma, Chalala, Avondale, Chawama and Lusaka West have been commissioned, boosting the quality of supply in those areas.
Planning and Projects Directorate is in charge of the planning across the value chain. That's the generation, transmission and distribution. We do the planning and the projects that come out of the planning. So in generation, we delve down into places where we put up the new power stations, we make the plans thereof, and after the plans are couched, then we actually get down to doing the actual project. We do the same in transmission, where we say where the transmission lines are going to be, we plan them, and then we effectively do the construction. And we do that in distribution as well. So essentially planning and projects is looking at the value chain, generation, transmission and distribution, doing the planning and the projects. What we're doing on the distribution space is we've instituted a lot of system studies where we look at the efficiency of the existing network, so that we see areas where we need to reinforce and put up extra substations, as it were. And we're also looking at maintenance. We're going into the networks, changing the poles, the rotten poles, and that type of a thing, so that we enhance efficiency. On the generation side, we had a project in Lusuasi where we upgraded the existing power station from 6 megawatts to 15 megawatts. That was done earlier in the year. On the transmission side, we did put in a transformer at Pensolo substation, 120 MVA 330 to 66. This was commissioned in October. On the distribution side, we did do a number of substations, especially in Lusaka, on the project that we're calling the Lusaka LTDRP, which is Lusaka Transmission and Distribution Rehabilitation Project. We finished the World Bank component, which is in excess of $100 million US, where we did substations like Avondale, just to point out one such.
Corporate social responsibility anchors on the betterment of people's lives in the communities. ZESCO, through investments in sport, education, innovation, technology, environmental conservation, and the preservation of the country's cultural heritage. In 2022, ZESCO invested in various community projects and initiatives in different parts of the country. Education, health, and culture benefited in that regard. In Mugun Village, ZESCO collaborated with the Mugun Development Trust to deliver clean and safe water to Sianjase village with the provision of a water reticulation facility. Education is the most important ingredient in changing the world. In respect of this view and the supportive of the government's free education policy, ZESCO Limited presented a classroom block to the people of Chieftainess Serenje's Chiefdom at Bushbashi Basic School in Serenje District. And in Pulungu District, ZESCO Limited handed over Lupongwe Health Post to the community of Lunzua. ZESCO Director Corporate Support Services Matemboli Simba highlights ZESCO's corporate social investment policy and the corporation's commitment to prudent corporate citizenship.
As a responsible corporate citizen, ZESCO does have a corporate social responsibility program, CSR, which is anchored on or aimed towards assisting better the lives of the people living in the communities where we have our installations. For instance, our power stations, our transmission substations. We always try to invest in this community to make their lives better for the people living in these communities. Our CSR policy is focused on education, health, technology, environmental sustainability, we support our cultural heritage. So those are the key focus areas that we try to invest in. For this year, we've had a number of activities in line with our CSR program. In Serenje, we did hand over a school at our Lusiwasi power station. It's a 1x3 classroom block. Then in Lunzua, we handed over a clinic. Again, it's in an area where we have our installations. It's one of our power stations, Lunzua. And lastly, in Livingston, we did hand over a water reticulation system. And this system is sitting in Chief Mukuni's area. We did this sometime in July this year. Going forward, we do have another CSR activity that we'll be undertaking at our Kafuo Gorge Lower Power Station. We'll be handing over a school. It's a secondary school, and this school will accommodate up to 500 learners.
As a customer-centric corporation, ZESCO is passionate about providing excellent and efficient energy services to its customers. And innovation and technology are the bedrock of modernized and efficient service delivery. ZESCO Limited scored some success during the year, which include improved call center efficiency, ICT innovations through the provision of service, online platforms such as the USSD code and the ZESCO mobile app. Some of the ZESCO's innovations such as the USSD code received third-party endorsement by winning the Best Product Innovation for the year 2021, an accolade bestowed on the corporation by the Zambia Institute of Marketing at the 2022 Annual Conference and Award Gala. The launch of the Smart House and the electric vehicle charging stations added to ZESCO's portfolio of groundbreaking innovations in the year. ZESCO Limited took to the stage to showcase its innovations at Zambia's premier trade shows, namely the 2022 Zambia International Trade Fair and the Zambia Agricultural Commercial Show. At both trade shows, the power utilities strides in the innovation through technology and ZESCO some silverware to include the Best Innovation Public Sector Award at the International Trade Fair, the Best Innovation Exhibit Commercial, Best Theme Interpretation Exhibit, Best Infrastructure Development Exhibit, and the second Best Industrial Exhibit Awards. Appreciative of their custom and continued loyalty, ZESCO has a message for its customers and all stakeholders.
Customers, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. We don't promise you a dark Christmas. We have put in place to ensure that there will be no load shedding on Christmas. We also put in place energy requirements to cover the new year as well. So we wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year as our customers. Continue supporting us. This is your company. This is your country. Support Zambia, support local, and you will be ever happy. We look to a better ZESCO. Among our customers, we do know that there are those who may not have received the best of service, but we do promise you that this has nothing to do with individualistic or personalization, but rather that we are coming from a very difficult time. So we do just wish you to look out for us and support us. Report vandalism wherever you see it. And unsuspecting people coming to your place you're not happy with, do call the number and ZESCO will answer and we'll get to you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.